Greetings, Chem students. This is Mr. Braun, and this is the pre-lab video for acid-base titration. Ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do is we're going to need a 24 well plate. We're going to need 50 milliliters of distilled water, so just get a beaker and put some distilled water in it. Make sure you have about 50 milliliters. We're going to need a rinse cup for water. Once again, we can just use a beaker. You're going to use this to rinse your pipette. You're going to have 6 toothpicks, and then finally we're going to have 1 pipette. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you are going to place the different amounts into wells A1 through A6. A1 has 20 drops, A2 25, A3 30, so on and so on until you get to 45 drops into well 6. Now, one thing that it does not say for you to do in this lab is to stretch your pipette. You are going to need to stretch your pipette or we're going to overflow the 24 well plate. So make sure that you have a stretched pipette. If you don't watch this video and you don't stretch your pipette, you're probably going to overflow the well plate and come up and say, hey, Mr. Braun, my well plate doesn't have enough room. I've overflowed it. Okay? So make sure that you stretch your pipette. Now it says, rinse the pipette 5 times with distilled water, squeezing out the water. This is after you add all of these base solutions. So you use all these base solutions, you fill them up, you rinse the pipette 5 times with the distilled water, squeezing it out into the rinse water cup. To each well, labs A1 through A6, you need to add a drop of phenolphthalein. Note in big capital letters, do not use your pipette. Use the dropper with the indicator bottle. Be sure the dropper does not touch the base solution. So we have phenolphthalein bottles at the back table. Make sure you use the dropper associated with that. Now let's go back and think a little bit. We have phenolphthalein. We are adding it to a base. So what color should your solution be? All right, it could be clear. It could be colorless, clear colorless. It could be pink. All right, what do you think it's going to be? The next step is you're going to fill your pipette with 0.5 molar hydrochloric acid. See the special note here? Special note. If during the experiment you need more acid, rinse the pipette 5 times with distilled water, squeezing out the water before refilling with acid. So if you need to go back and get more acid, make sure you clean your pipette, just like you did above, 5 times with distilled water, then go back and get some more of the acid. Okay? To wells A1, add the acid solution to the base 1 drop at a time, counting drops. So add it drop by drop, counting how many drops. Once you put a drop in, you need to stir it with the toothpick. The toothpick is your little stirring rod. So stir it with the toothpick. Continue adding drops of the acid until the solution turns colorless and stays colorless for how long? That's right, ladies and gentlemen, for 30 seconds. Record the number of drops in the data table for A1, and then you are going to repeat this process for A2 through well A6. Now, make sure you use a new toothpick so that you do not contaminate. Okay? When you are finished, you can empty the contents of all the well plates into the sink. Then you will rinse the well plate with soapy water. I also have Q-tips over by my cleaning area, so you could use the Q-tips to rinse and help clean out that well plate. Okay? Now, once you're done, You're going to have the data table filled up with A1 through A6 here. So you're going to have all of these filled up. And you are going to need to use this equation right here. MAVA MRB is equal to MB MRA. Now we're familiar with that. Knowing what you know, you're going to need a balanced chemical equation. So we're going to have to go way back here. What is the base? Oh, it does not say. So I better go back and read what the beaker says the base is in Mr. Braun's laboratory area. So make sure you make note what the base is you're using. It does not say in this lab, but I need it for the balanced equation. The acid, right here, it tells me my concentration of hydrochloric acid. So I am using hydrochloric acid, the base I don't know. You better go back and see what the base is. So you're going to need that to balance the equation. Once you have a balanced chemical equation, you will have MRB, you will have MRA. You will need to then use this equation to calculate all of your molarities for the bases. Okay? Once you are done, you need to average all 6 molarities for the base and come up with the average molarity of the base. What you're going to be evaluated with in this lab is how close you are to the correct molarity of the base. So how close is your average to the accepted value of the molarity of the base? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Braun. We have been discussing acid-base titration lab. Chem students, let's investigate.